Hey there, Sheepdoggers, and welcome to Sheepdog's unfair review of Rust. Another game that's early access, another game that's alpha, another game that's survival. You can't see me do the inverted commas. I'm not sure why I did it. Yeah, so we'll do the options very quickly. Sound, graphics, input. There you go. It is early access, but still, I do like a bit more options than that in my games. And you can see there are official servers where you get a shit ton of people. These servers I kind of consider to be, what's the best way to put it? Deathmatch servers. Basically, you spawn in quite often. You know, you'll have groups of people working together, and you just kill each other. Basically, I've played on a official server with over 100 people. Once or twice, and it is just it's insane. For what it is, it's quite fun to jump in and piss about. But if you're wanting the kind of survival part of the so-called survival experience of Rust, this is not where you go. The map isn't big enough. Basically, they've given you an arena in which to craft a few things. It's kind of like the Hunger Games, actually. You know, they drop you in, and everyone's trying to kill you, and you have to find food, eat food, and then get to the point where you can kill other people instead. So yeah, that's the basic. Wait, is that? Oh, Pages is here. So yeah, that's the basic idea of it. I'll jump into this one here, just purely because there's 12. That's about enough. I don't want a whole load of people, but if it was empty, then you know, one thing I've noticed is that there are so many servers. People have just smashed those servers up there and put a few mods on it, maybe, and etc. etc. So it does kind of turn out to be very yeah. It does turn out to be very kind of advertised. You know, people are like trying to make it easier for you, trying to make it more difficult. You can find whatever type of server you want, but you have to make sure it's the type of server you want. Like, I wouldn't want one where it makes it too easy, you know, because that's basically promoting the whole deathmatch idea, which seems to be prevalent in these survival games. Is the survival part is minimal. The PvP part is the part where they're trying to, you know, draw you in. They're like, oh, come in and you know, be the best survivor by killing everyone else. And you know, I would prefer this game a lot more if there was less focus on murder and a bit more focus on, you know, the actual survival part of survival, where, you know, hunting and I mean it is in alpha, and I can only assume that things will get better as time goes on, but at this point in time, it's very, very kind of basic survival. Food is food and water. You know, there's no dehydration. Food goes down very quickly. Bullets, yeah. Where would we be without bullets? And gunpowder and paper. So you know, you can go around to these ruin style places and pick up some resources. Usually you'll find something. Sometimes you'll find something awesome like a gun or whatever. There you can see over there is a deer, and hunting animals is not where I like it for the most part. Is there someone in here? Oh, there's people kind of set up their houses here, apparently. I doubt someone must have broken in. You can break into people's houses by like knocking down the door. I don't have any particular interest in doing that, to be honest, but you can. And yeah, so you can run around, and it seems like someone set up a kind of community housing bit here. And what happened was probably some random person jumped in the server, ran about, knocked down all the doors, and stole people's stuff, which does happen. And to hunt the animals, you basically have to charge after them. Charge, charge, charge. You can't really get the deers without some form of projectile, like a bow. But you can get pigs. Pigs are fairly easy enough to find and kill. We'll brave the rad quickly to see if we can find anything back here. There is some gunpowder, and that looks like it. Unless there's something over here. Oh. Bit of cloth, that's always useful. That does actually look like it now. A tom atom. So yeah, you see there are a few buildings about the place. Yeah, I kind of have to fall back on my old. I think I heard someone talking there. I kind of have to fall back on my old axiom of it's not that bad. You know, it's fairly solid for what it is. I just don't particularly consider it to be survival. Russians, I think. So yeah, it's not really survival in my own personal opinion. You know, there are survival aspects, but what it is it's a PvP game with survival aspects instead of being a kind of survival focused game. You know, you're in the apocalypse. You have to gather supplies and, you know, whatever my rad suit boots say. Let's put that out here so that we can. Yeah, no, it's as you can hear from the gunshots. You can find guns. You can craft guns. We'll get to that in a moment. Yeah, you can find guns. You can craft guns. You can craft ammo. So it really does become a matter of, hey, let's get a gun and then let's go kill people for their stuff and let's break into people's houses and the resources you can gather at the moment are very limited. You know, you've got the trees for wood and the wood piles for wood. You've got stone, which I can never bloody find apparently. But you've got stone which you hit with this, like, this isn't the stone you can get. This is just like rock. But there's little kind of nubs of stone in the world where you can smack it with a rock, with your mighty rock of the gods, which never runs out, and is apparently more powerful than other rocks. And yeah, you'll get like rock and metal and bits and pieces. You know, it's very basic. And as I said, it's not bad. It's just I'm not sure how survival I would really consider it. So to be honest, at this point, I've shown you a fair portion of the game. You get in, you're pretty much naked. You can find stuff in houses. You can hit animals for cloth, leather, and yeah, you can hit animals for cloth, leather, and meat. And then you cook the meat. You see the hunger is going up. And then you get cold if you don't have clothes on, and it's a cold day or whatever, and you lose food quicker. It's all fairly standard for what you'd expect from this type of game. So we're just gonna go crafting and set up for the night. There is a certain aspect of, oh, this is quite cool. And yeah, some servers give you instant crafting, so you can just instantly craft everything, which I find is a bit meh. But yeah, you can see the survival things you can craft. To be honest, I'm not sure how a wooden barricade is survival. Not really. Oh, for God's sake. I can hear a I wonder if he saw me or not. Maybe. He doesn't look like he's got anything either, so... So yeah, now you've got comfort, my food will go down slower, and I may not starve to death. What I probably won't do is wait for day to come. I'll have a little chat about the game, and then we'll be done. So, as you can see, you know, you've got sleeping bags, and you need cloth for that, and storage boxes. You know, basically what you do is you build a wooden shelter, you build a wooden door, you put them together, and what do you get? You get a house. And that's where you store your stuff. People can't get into your door unless they have permission somehow. I think you can give permission, possibly. And they can break down the wooden door. But there is also a metal door you can make, which, as far as I know, people can't break down. You've got the standard workbench, which lets you make more complicated stuff. For example, the metal door. And yeah, that's kind of once you've got a hatchet, you start off with the stone hatchet. You start off making the stone hatchet, and then you'll cut down a whole load of wood, and you'll start maybe kill a couple of animals. Then you've got food, and then you've got enough cloth to make a bow, which is, where's the bloody bow? There it is, a hunting bow. You see, you only need 5 cloth, so killing a couple of animals will do it. And then you've got the hunting bow, and then you could... I've got a cold. And then you can start cutting down a whole load of wood and a whole load of rocks and metal, and then you can start making low quality metal, and then you can find gunpowder. You can make it from charcoal and sulfur. Charcoal you get from burning wood. You get leftover charcoal in there. And sulfur. Is that guy like right above me? I know. And sulfur you get from the stones. That's really freaky, actually. Just having like footsteps around me, but not being able to see. Is it a predator? Is the predator here? Yeah, and not being able to see is. It's a little annoying. This fire isn't exactly hidden either. Oh my god, I'm so, like, coldy right now. So yeah, furnace is to smelt ore, workbench is to make better stuff, low-grade fuel, and you've got other things, small stash, gateways, and you can make larger buildings. Out of bits and pieces that you have, and arrow. And see, this is my problem, is you can make 9mm ammo with gunpowder and metal fragments. You can make a revolver. You can find 9mm pistols and stuff, and I think as time goes on, you can actually make standard proper weapons, which like a revolver. Making a revolver is a little bit kind of like, well, okay, but still, it's not too bad. Making a kind of makeshift revolver or a hand cannon, kind of shotgun, pipe shotgun, it's all kind of acceptable. But when you can make rifles and proper pistols and stuff, and also find them like all over the place. It's just a little silly for my liking, if you were able to make kind of blunderbusses and wow, what's that over there? It's like a hole open. I'm guessing it's the moon, but it looks like a hole opening in the like a dimensional rift opening. That is weird. Quite cool, but nonetheless weird. I can't imagine that's the moon, because it started on the left over there. Huh. I really am wondering what that is now. Oh, for God's sake. So yeah, if I turn the fire off, you can see it will go from comfort to hopefully cold. No cold. Apparently, because I got my trousers on or my boots, that's enough to keep me warm, even in the night. So yeah, these boots are enough to sort me out completely, and I imagine people would be very willing to kill me for those boots. Weirdly enough. But yeah, so going back to talking about the game properly and that aside, I feel like the company aren't going in a survival direction, not in a proper survival where I'd like it to go. You know, it feels more and more like a lot of people love the idea of survival, but they don't want the difficult survival, like possibly where DayZ is headed. They want bare bones survival where they get to kill each other and kind of, be a giant dick. Basically, the kind where you can go off and find an amazing sniper rifle and sit on the coast and snipe everyone until everyone's had enough. Just that kind of thing. And it feels like these guys, I mean, there are aspects of it where I think, well, it might be headed in a decent direction, but a lot of the gun crafting and stuff makes me think that this game is going to be a PvP arena, kind of like a Hunger Games-esque setting. Not exactly, but just in the sense that you get there, you have to keep warm, you have to keep fed, and then everyone else is trying to kill you, basically. And it's not going to progress too far past that. I don't think, things I'd love to see is, decent hunting, so you have to track them and etc. And the way the food goes down so quickly makes me think that, it's literally just going to be you smacking a pig that's running away slowly and then cooking its food, and that's it. That's how you survive hunger. So I know it's not going to be a very popular opinion, but I really do think that it's going to be very kind of basic survival, not particularly. It's enough survival that they can put survival in the name of their game, and that's what companies tend to do now. They're like, people like survival, so we'll put survival in the name of the game, and people will be like, oh, survival, yes, which is it's not exactly why I got the game, because I saw people. I saw there was quite a bit of interest in it, and I was like, okay, well, I'll get this, and I'll do a few streams, maybe a video or two, and see how it goes. Maybe get the T-God guys in and etc. So, that's why I got it. But if I wasn't doing videos and streams and YouTube and Twitch and so on, I probably would have got it anyway, just purely because when a game has the word survival in it, it piques my interest. So I go, oh, okay, I'll keep an eye on that. And then as time goes on, if it gets popular or if it starts talking about features that I'm really interested in, I'll be like, yeah, you know what, I'm wanting to play this. And I think part of the problem with this, as with the other early access games will be, is that it's got enough to keep people interested, so people buy it, they enjoy it when they start playing it, they're like, oh yeah, this is really cool, like survival, but it's too bare bones. There's not enough here to satisfy people for very long. The PvP aspect will keep people going, and I think that's why a lot of survival early access games have heavy emphasis on PvP, because that's all there is for people to do after a while. Once you've gotten used to the game, you can spawn in, you can go and collect a few things in a day cycle, pretty much. I didn't do it because it was almost dark anyway, and also because I don't play this game that much, because I don't want to wear it out. But yeah, people will run around, and the thing is, every time there's a new feature, every time there's an update with some content, some new gameplay or survival aspect or whatever, people will jump in and burn through it instantly. So you'll get to the point where people, it's similar to DayZ in a way, and to other games of this ilk, is that they'll just burn through all the content so quickly, get to the top, as it were, of the survival ladder, and just, you know, jump on and kill people for a while when they're bored, and it will become one of these games that could have been amazing, but lost people's interest because there wasn't enough content when it was out, you know. So, and I think quite often that happens with early access, is that people jump in and they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be amazing, but you know, they're looking at the planned features, they're looking at what the game could be, but they judge it on what it is. They say, oh, this game isn't as good as I thought it was going to be, and it's like, no, it's not completed yet. You know, you're playing an alpha. And I think it's a bad practice for game developers, especially ones who have games under their belt already, unless they're trying for a really innovative and a really new kind of risky type of game. I think early access and so on should be avoided by developers, just purely because in the long run it hurts your game. So yeah, and you know, talking about the rest of the game, you know, you get airdrops where, you know, people will all run to pick up the decent supplies. Same thing that happens in Nether. I had to re-record this video because I missed a couple of things, and I said a couple of things that were actually wrong. I did some research into it afterwards, and they were very, very wrong. So I backtracked and deleted, and I'm recording this again after I recorded 7 Days to Die, which will be tomorrow's unfair review. And yeah, so so I decided when I did this that I'm also going to do a Nether unfair review as well, because I think Nether's going to be another one that's very similar to these games, to some of these games, and in aspects. But yeah, like Nether, you have drops where people can run to and pick up, you know, superior supplies. I think I hear a plane coming over, maybe. And it means that, you know, it just adds to the whole PvP aspect of the game, you know, like points where you're going to be fighting. The thing I like about DayZ is it doesn't do that. You know, it doesn't say, right, you know, here are a whole load of supplies that are being dropped in. You know, everyone's going to rush there and have a fight. You know, it focuses a bit more on the survival, and it's like there are areas where there might be conflict, but you don't have to go there. So the people who go there are people who want to grab a gun quickly, or, you know, etc. So there's comparing this to Nether is quite fair. Like, they're completely different in quite a few aspects, and I'm not a fan of the overall design of either of them. Just the way they look, just the way the UI is and everything. I'm not a fan of either. Like, DayZ kind of has it right for me. You know, it's a bit more empty. Like, you can open up your inventory. You can change between, you know, your torch and your rock, in the equivalent, you know, your axe or whatever. But all of the info goes away, and in Nether and in Rust, and also I think in 7 Days to Die, I can't remember now, but I think they all have, you know, like the comfort, the health, the food, the rads, you know, all the info about you is there. Whereas in DayZ, it's a lot more dependent, you know, like your vision goes dark and grey if you're low on blood and food and etc. And, you know you're bleeding because you start bleeding, and you have little bits saying, like, you know, my clothes are filling with blood, basically, but it doesn't say like bleeding effect or anything like that, and I prefer that a lot more. So if you're interested in bare bones survival, PvP, you know, jump in right into the action, very instant, very no real setup, no long scavenging or anything times, then I'd say go Rust. Rust is decent. You know, it's a solid game. It isn't bad. It's just not what I would want. So, you know, if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, oh, well, Sheep's banging on this game, I really enjoy it. Fair enough. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying it's not what I'd want, and I don't really consider it survival per se. So, I'm going to end this here before I actually start bashing on the game, because there are aspects I just don't like, and no, to be fair, there are aspects that I'm not a huge fan of. I don't think they're bad. They're just not for me. And that's, you know, as unfair as the reviews may be, I'm not going to be like, you know, oh, they're you know, like, encouraging people to PvP too much, and they're, you know, because that's the aspect of the game which is kind of integral to the game. The PvP is integral. And that's where they're giving people their entertainment right now. So, you know, if they get to the point where they can add a whole load of content and the survival's like through the roof, you know, which is possible given how the game's set up, then, you know, I probably will come back and enjoy it a lot more. And, you know, it's possible I will still stream it every now and then because people enjoy watching it. And I don't dislike playing the game. It just irks me, the whole survival aspect being so downplayed. But yeah, anyway, that's a long and windy bastardized paragraph right there, really, isn't it? So yeah, basically, Rust, decent game. If you're interested in it, yeah, sure, check it out. As always, I'm not going to say buy it, don't buy it. But I will say, if you're like me and you enjoy your survival games to be very survival, you know, like proper survival, then this game will tire you out quite quickly. If you want to, if you're interested in where it could go, then you can buy it. You can support it, you know, support the development and play it a little bit. But I really would advise you not to play this game too much because you will get completely bored with it after a while. So there you go, guys. That's my unfair review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.